Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm going to be inviting my friend and source of divine inspiration, Yasmina, to join me now. So give me just a moment to bring her online. And I want to thank you for joining us. Okay, Yasmina, and she is here. We are so excited to have you here with us for this very important conversation.
Yes.
There you are.
I was wondering because I said maybe she's waiting that I launch the live because I was like, don't know how it works, you know.
Oh, no, it took us just a minute, but I'm so happy to see you. I'm adjusting my camera.
Me too. I am trying also to put the sound better. Yeah, I think it's good like that. Yeah.
And we are twins today.
We are twins. The two only one for now. We have them.
That's right. If you do not know about Yasmina's shawls, you're going to learn all about them today. So I want to take a moment and introduce everyone and tell you what this live is all about. I have been following Yasmina for about a year on YouTube. I think I've seen every video. And she's been inspiring me through this very challenging year. It's been a gift to watch you, to learn with you. And so I reached out to Yasmina. I wanted to buy a shawl, and I also wanted to see if she would be open to having a dialogue with my community and her community, and she said yes. So thank you, Yasmina, for joining us. You are an incredible soul, and it's such a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you to you. It's really an honor for me. I was like, wow, I'm surprised. I'm very happy. And a lot of your students contacted me already. And it's like a feeling to be part of a big family. But I didn't even know it was existing. You know, it's like, yeah, it's really, really interesting. I'm very happy. Thank you very much for inviting me. Yeah.
It's a pleasure. And so we thought it would be fun just to have kind of a spirit-led conversation. Yasmina and I both really believe in the higher self, and that when the higher self takes the lead, some very interesting things arise.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also want to make time for you to ask questions too today. So we'll definitely make some space for some questions and answers. And
yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
For sure. Should we start by talking about the shawl? Because one of the things I want to tell you is, so this is how I originally reached out to you, was because I was so inspired. And they're so much more than a shawl. It's a piece of art. You know, Yasmina is a visual artist and a photographer and a model and a stylist and all of these things. And so when I reached out to her about this, I began to learn about an orphanage that she also supports.
Yeah, and this, it's quite interesting process that I was not expecting to do. I never wanted to be in business, being a model on the other side. You know, I worked with designers, close with them because I was fit model at the beginning when I started. So I was seeing them struggling, creating collections season after season. And I said, I will never do this. It was like too much. And I make my clothes since ever. So people told me, why you don't do a line? It's so beautiful. I said, because no, I don't do that. Then the shawls came in my life. That was making sense because I always worn shawls since ever. For me, it's like, it's really to make an outfit complete. So even if I don't had all these shawls that I had now, I always bought an extra long piece of fabric of the dress I was making or the outfit I was making to have it as a shawl. Because I love what is monochromatic and or two colors. So like that, I had a complete outfit that looked like luxury with just a piece of fabric. And this is the beauty of shawls. It's that with one shawl, with different shawls, you can really totally change your look, your style, your mood. You know, it can change with the mood of the day. Regarding where you go, regarding the event, it's really beyond an accessory. It's really like a magic cape, you know, like the superhero.
No, it really is. It is.
It's protection, and at the same time, it's delimit your space, because you need space when you have this. You know, it's like you evolve differently when you have that than when you don't. It's another way to behave with this piece of fabrics. You know, it's quite really interesting relation that you can get more and more when you have a valuable items like I have. I cannot be free of them. Since 40 years, I have pieces that I love, and I rediscover them year after year. I forget them for 1-2 years, and I rediscover them. And I create something new with them. And in fact, there is a relation that is going with the object, because it's also with your soul, and you become friend with that. And it fascinates me, actually, this process. Yeah.
Well, and I love too that you talk about not buying as many things, but buying really good quality and timeless things, because you know, underneath this, so it's just a black dress. I mean, it's very simple. And you say the same thing. What's underneath can be really timeless, something you've had for 20 years, but it becomes completely new again. Yeah,
exactly. And plus, you know, it's something that is so light and so thin that you can have it in your bag. Me, I love to have my crossbody bag, and I hang this on the top of my crossbody. And even when I go in an evening, and it makes very, it gives something more to the outfit, to the whole look, you know, just by that. And like this, you have it always with you. And what is nice also is to play with the color you put underneath. You see where you have your skin, you see better. After a while, it's black, it's different. So imagine you are all in white and you have that, and it's gonna be totally different. And you put a color underneath, and it's what I like, is to play with that, and also to overlay them, because we get new shades that are changing all the time, because it's the transparency. And for me, what is amazing now, something totally unexpected, like even 2 years ago, it started more or less 2 years ago. In fact, I didn't want to do that. The beginning has been hard, but I was not seeing that the universe had an agenda that I was unable to see when I started, and it was hard. And when, because I always thought, if one day I do something, I want to give something to an orphanage. This was my thing, even without knowing an orphanage. And when I've been in Nepal, a concourse of circumstances make me meet Lila, who is taking care of this small orphanage in Kathmandu. And I said, this is it. This is. So from that, I was going to quit last year in 2019. I was going to stop that. I've been there in 2018. I was traveling a lot. I was not at home like I've been obliged to be in 2020. And 2020, in fact, has been the most important and most interesting year in my life, because it obliged me to be at home. Me, I'm like a flying bird all the time, you know, and I loved it. And I deep inside of me, I wanted that. I was tired to travel so much. I was really tired, but I was unable to do, because I'm a Sagittarius, and I always want to go to see what is at the next corner. And curiously, when I started the video last year with the confinement, I wore my yak shawl. But I just ordered 20 of them, because, and I was like thinking end of 2019, what I did, order that. This money is sleeping in a drawer. Nobody's buying these things. Sure, I was not promoting anything because I'm bad to promote. I'm like, and people saw that and asked me, wow, what is it? It's so beautiful. I want one. And I sold all of them. And I reorder. And like this, I give again work to the makers and the families of the artisan. And after they asked me for the colors, and after I contacted again the makers I saw that I stopped to work with, and they said, oh yeah, now it's perfect time, and this bring them more work, and I say, well, I can give money to the orphanage now that I wanted to do. So, and last year, with all the operation I made with my shawls and some people, I did some collaboration. We raised almost 3 months of their expenses.
Wow.
Your total expenses.
Wow.
So I was like, now I know it was the beginning was hard, but the universe had a plan that I was unable to see, So now it's
I think really... too, it's become a gift for people who are at home and need some inspiration. The other side of it too is I think it's also bringing, the timing is right because we are at home, but we need to feel that sense of comfort, and it's very there's something energetic about it that reminds you that we'll get beyond this, and that art still matters, and all of those things.
And also, it's very personal, because when I started like 3 years ago, more or less, with a couple of friends, this business, it was not working at all. And I understood very fast that it was because people wanted to be in touch with me directly. And I was like, on the verge to think, oh, my ego. It's not an ego thing. And I realize now, because I do private video with some of my followers when they want to see the shades, we discuss, we have, we share a little bit of our lives. And in fact, when I do everything myself, I'm living in a small studio, that guest house, and I organize that to be able to have everything there. And I do the packaging myself, and every time it's like if I am connected to these people all around the world. In that time, it's like I cherish that piece that they're gonna get, and a piece of me is there.
That's right.
And even now, more with the art, more with the print, because these are photographs I had since many years that I worked on with. Each of them has a great history in the back, a great story. And they were sleeping in my files. And now I can print them, and they can be alive on people all around the world. It's fantastic for me as artist. So this is,
Yeah, and I love the way you do it so personally. You can't just buy it by clicking and click, and it has to be a conversation, and I think that gets lost.
I tried that. People ask me why you don't do an e-commerce. I tried that last year. It was not working at all. Not at all. I knew it. But I said, okay, I'm going to try. I put everything on my website and all the link to pay, and nothing. Because, and I knew, and I know it, it's beyond just the shawl. We create all around the world, and with some men as well who are buying, we create a network of a special network parallel to what is going on, of beauty, goodness, sharing, consciousness. And it's really nice. I'm amazed. I was never imagining such a thing. I'm like, it's blown my mind, actually, really.
But I love that. And I love that you're open to how it needs to be. You listen to, I always say, no matter what you do, there's a voice, right? There's a voice. The shawls have a voice. The work that I do has a voice, but you have to be quiet enough to hear it, don't you think? It's like, it will guide you if you listen, but if you listen to everybody else, It's not authentic.
Yeah, it's what I say in my video. It's very simple indeed, very simple. Less you have distractions from the outside, more you can listen this little voice, because it's a tiny little kind voice. It's not a very loud voice. It's very subtle. And if we are too distracted, we cannot hear it. It's impossible.
Right.
And for that, we have to be in the present moment, attentive to what we do.
Yeah.
And for that, sure, we can have a nice music. Me, I love the sound of the birds. It helps me a lot. I feel their frequency, their resonance in my body, and I have the feeling they are healing me, really healing me, elevate my vibration, you know.
I agree.
So often I am in silence just with the birds or the waves, because I live close by the ocean. And if you watch TV, automatically it's cut, because that window that I don't have since more than 40 years, you know, I had it at the beginning when my kids were little, and soon I've been free of them. They were pissed off because their friend had the TV and we don't. But you know, it was something. Yeah. So when you don't have this thing already, it gives a lot of room in your life, and it brings peace in your environment. It's an amazing way to bring peace is to cut off the TV, to don't have TV, no connection to the network.
Yeah.
And it works. And it's like when we have a power failure, suddenly everything is at peace.
That's right.
Because when there is electricity, as we are electric beings, the frequency of the electricity, the power we have, is interfering with our own electromagnetism. And we cannot be, you know, like that. And it's for that it's important to cut off the Wi-Fi at night, to don't have the phone close to the bed, and everything switch off as much as possible. No electricity around the bed is possible, you know, just a small light. That's it. It's the only way to be really, and it's really pleasant. It's the feeling you have in your body is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's simple. It doesn't cost anything, and it's very simple. No more than that.
It's an adjustment. You know, I don't watch television either. If there's a specific, program that my husband's like, oh, we should watch it together, maybe an hour a week, but I don't watch television. And it always surprises people, but I love YouTube. I think that's a fantastic way to learn and get inspired. You can control your content a little bit, a little bit better.
Exactly. We have this amazing tool about the internet regarding what we do with it. It's amazing. We can just type some words and have information and read more and buy a book and see a documentary or movie on YouTube. And it's true. We really, and me, I am not really present on it because it takes me so much time what I'm doing with the shawls and Instagram and my self video, you know, shooting and packaging and going to the post office, and my days are like, you know, really, really busy. And I would love to have more time to investigate a little bit on, you know, YouTube and all that, and also to use it differently at my advantage, that I'm not good to do that, you know. Yeah. But it's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things I was going to ask you today, and because I would love for you to talk more about this, I have found that a lot of women in particular don't like to post a lot of pictures of themselves or take a lot of selfies or do these, you know, videos of themselves. But I remember my grandmother decades ago told me, always remember, you will regret not having pictures of yourself when you're young. Always remember to take pictures, take video, enjoy your beauty when you're young. Don't be self-conscious about it. And I have tried to take that advice, but I love that you share so much of yourself visually. And I wonder if you have any I know you don't like to give advice, but any guidance for women to feel empowered to share more of their beauty in the world?
Yeah, it's very simple. And if because I have a lot of video, I often speak about that. The thing is to don't slide on the egoistic, I don't know how to say in English, side, or to feel guilty about that.
Yeah.
For me, it's very simple. For me, doing this, it's celebrating the manifestation of the divine through me. So being on that, because since kid, I've always been amazed, fascinated by the human body.
Yeah.
Since very little, very, very little. Wow. The fact I could scratch myself and it's repair in 2 days, I was like, how this is working? Yeah. So when I've been at school at the beginning, we have a natural science of the body, the cells, the blood and all. And it was like fascinating. I always had 20 on 20 because I love that science, that field. And like chemistry also, all this and geometry. And in fact, the same. And this is all about the expression of our divine essence. So if you are connected to what is sacred and divine in yourself, and you create with that, in fact, is what I say, it's like, how can you create an art piece like nature does with yourself? Because we are part of nature. If we have in mind that we are organic as nature, and we can create beauty as nature do, we can be creator of that. And we can share that. And this gonna inspire or awake, even more than inspiring, I think by resonance, this gonna touch people by frequency, by resonance of this thing, this seed that is asleep in everybody, because we all have a divine essence. And this gonna awake this desire. And the desire, it's the origin of creation.
That's right.
And like that, you can let you go, and you can go in total fantasy with yourself and try. And now we have this tool with a phone. We can do everything with a phone. And there is nothing to be ashamed of. It can be a line of your skin, of your boobs, of your tummy, of your butt, of your something, just your hair, just in the water and under the shower. Imagine, use your imagination, play with that. And most of my video, because I can shoot when I shoot professionally on myself or client, I have a camera, a professional camera. But when I shoot for myself for social media, this video, it's with my phone, and I take screenshot of that.
Oh, nice.
Do video and stop slide by slide, and take what you like and combine and do things with that. I don't have a lot of app on my phone, but you can find app. I'm not fan of filters and retouching, not at all. I don't have time for that. But you can really create. And I'm not really creative because I just take a video and I post it. I don't retouch. I don't, edit a lot, just a little one reel, but I take a piece here, I put them together. But have fun. It's a time now with the technology we created. We created this technology to be creators.
That's right.
And this is because more and more, especially last year, more and more we have been obliged to be with ourselves, to be able to feel better our dimension. That we are not only it's very interesting because this situation since last year obliged us to be with ourselves, to be better, more interested about how our bodies are working. And if we put interest in our physical body, we feed our soul. because it's directly connected. So by that, we have more and more connection with the invisible side of us. Yeah. And we can bring more and more and more information from that invisible side. And these phones that we have to do video, it's a tool to bring from this invisible something and show it to the world. And after, by resonance, others going to do the same thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It becomes like a slip, you know, to go and do this and not to be self-conscious or to be afraid of how people will receive it. I think if you look at it as art, it gives you a different level of confidence, maybe
yeah, and it's a beyond the selfie, because at the beginning when I don't do selfie, I do self-portrait, and at the beginning, because selfie has a kind of vulgar connotation for me, and I do self-portrait since a long time, since I can say almost 20 years with my camera at the beginning. So the thing is, when I started to see the selfie era of people doing all their pages, their face, you know, at the beginning, I could feel inside of me the judgmental side who say, oh my goodness, what is that? But I say, if you think that, what is back of that? So I was able to observe this reflection in me, this side of me, you know, like thinking that, judgmental, to step back. And I felt something. I felt something very interesting. I said, now I know what they do. They are like attempting to bring in the physical presence, in the physical world, visual world, something from the invisible that is so beautiful at the level of the soul, the divine essence, that it's very difficult in the physical body to manifest that and to let that be. So by taking one and another one and an angle, another light, a thing, maybe there is a chance to get a glimpse of that essence. And it's what I saw in this selfie trend.
Yeah, me too.
And it's that. And for me, it's that. For me, it's that. And it goes with the era we are of being with the Aquarius era, going in toward spiritual beings. And perfect tool again, the perfect tool. We have that. It's fantastic.
It is. And if we could, I'm going to plug, I thought my phone was plugged in, but it's showing that it's not. So I'm going to just take 1 second to make sure it's plugged in.
Yeah,
stay right
sure.
There. I'm plugged in.
So this is my vision, you know, it's my vision of this, of the era we live, the tools we have that we created at the you know, unconscious, collective unconscious. We created this to be able to do the shift in that new era, to do, like we said in French, verso. Aquarius is verso, means to reverse the water. This is the meaning in French of verso, of Aquarius sign. It's, you know, it's this thing that it's to reverse the waters. So all that was before is obsolete. And we are in the time of reversing, shifting to verse the waters, even if it's an air sign, to, you know, for the spiritual level, to verse in the other opposite side. And it's what we are doing. It's really, it's fascinating to observe.
Yep. It's happening.
It is. Yeah.
It's happening. To expect, but it is happening.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. So,
well, so, and I think that's what you represent. I mean, for me, I think that's when I watch you, I feel empowered to be completely authentic and to remember that I am different, and that what's different about me is actually something that it's okay to be proud of. You know, it's okay to focus on that, and it's okay if it's not what everybody else thinks is beautiful or normal, you know?
is what I wanted to say as well, for about, taking your own pictures and things. This is something that we have to have in mind. Each of us are unique. And this uniqueness, it's not to copy or to be like a clone of someone else. It's really to enhance that, to develop that, even with what we don't like of us, to find a way to transform that. It's an art. It's making an art piece of ourselves and of our uniqueness, because we are not equal. We are all different. And the mistake that has been done since some eras, decades, mostly since 100 years, is to want slowly to put everybody the same. It's impossible. It's nature is diversified. It's about diversity. We cannot be the same. It's not working. So when you want to stand, you be yourself. You don't copy someone else. And what you were saying, what you felt about empowerment, is because since I'm kid, I am stubborn and I am really on the position of what is right for me. And this is how you get more and more in touch with your inner power. When you put forward what is right for you, despite what other things can think about you, you don't have to be, there are no fear about being ridiculous, about being not right, about being, no, you are like you are and you express like you are. And if some people don't resonate with that, it's not your problem. You know what I mean? It's like, no problem.
Look at something else, or they can go to a different, because not everybody is for everybody. So I think that's part of it too, is if you let go of the idea that you are what everybody needs, then you're free.
Yeah. And it's not often easy, because at the beginning of a life, we have the conditionment of the family, the society, the religion, the school, all that. And we know deep inside of us what is right for us. We know it. But sometimes it's very difficult, because it's oppressing to have all these things around. And, it's like, so until the first cycle of Saturn, that is 28 years and a half, at that time, usually a lot of people break the cycle, break the circle, break the thing, It can be 2 years before, 2 years after, but around that time, because we're going to put in place a new structure. And at the double of that, at 59, it's amazing. It's another thing that explodes, and it's like fantastic. So it's great. I'm so much happy now in my life than even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago. It amazes me.
Yeah.
Because this is growing. It's like something that is growing inside of you.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
But it's interesting that you mentioned the second Saturn return, because so many people focus on the first one, and it's usually very, I went through it, and I got married when I was going through my Saturn return. A lot of people get divorced when they're going through, it can be one or the other, right? Big changes. Yeah. But the second one seems to really bring everybody, but I talk to mostly women, seems to really bring women into their power and their sovereignty. It seems like that second Saturn return really lands you in your body. I'm not there yet, but I'm close. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's also because we have the transition of menopause around that time. Maybe starting younger, but around that time. And like that, all the energy we had given for something else in our young age, we cannot give it anymore, but we get much more. We get back this energy for ourselves. And it's really empowering. It's really, really strong. I was not even believing. I was unable to imagine that when I was 45, when it started for me, that I was really tired. New York. She was doing Reiki, acupuncture. She was a naturopath, and she was 10 years older than me. And she told me, you will see when this is past. And I was so tired. I could not imagine what it was true. And she said, you will have even much more energy. And she was right. Yeah. I think of her very often. And and I've been through this naturally, you know, and it has been very a learning experience. Yeah. Because everything I learned, it's by my body. Yeah. It's by troubles in my body. Yeah. That brought me to put attention on some part of my body that were in trouble and make the relation of that with what I was living in my life. And understand that it was an interconnection between my soul, my spirit, and my body in both That's ways. Right. And if I was working on the body, it was going backward and fulfilling the needs of the soul. And when I was working with my body, for example, creating art, it's a need of the soul. We satisfy the need for the soul when we create art. So it's that, and it's a fabulous process. So after menopause, we don't create the same way. There is more wisdom. We create not a creation of flesh. We create something that is, I cannot say more depth, because bringing human beings in life, it's fantastic, you know, but it's different. It's on a different level. And I think it's the time we can share with other women and men. Men are really curious about this process as well, because they live it. It doesn't take the same shape, but they live it as well with andropause, you know, and they are interested to know how women that they feel strong, how they do it. Yeah. Because they are concerned as well.
We don't talk about men. I love that you said andropause. You know, there is a shifting in their hormone balance too. And I feel like men get left behind because we focus on women.
Yeah. You know, it's, and men rarely speak about what moved them, what touched them, hurt them. They rarely go, I saw men, because as I am welcoming this, they cry with me, or they know they can be that too, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And this empowers them in another way of being really sensitive and touch and mothering, you know, and connected to the sacred and appreciate the sacred in women. And it's wonderful.
Yeah, I think men in the 60s and 70s are the sexiest of their lives, in my opinion. Yeah.
They are.
There's a softness and like you said, an integration of the feminine that comes, and they receive it in a different way. So
yeah, it's wonderful when we can, you know, connect at this level. And it's not obliged to be with a lover, you know, partner. It can be with friends, male friends. And it's wonderful. And it's like, you know, and you can hug, and it's like so much love, because you vibrate on that same, you know, frequency of love, simply, without sexual agenda or anything. It's even stronger. I had some very deep experience where at the beginning it was sexual attraction. And after seeing that the relation was not possible at this level, I was wondering what was the hidden gift in that? What was supposed to be awakened in that? And I discovered that often it was part of myself that were asleep, that they were reflecting outside of me, that I was attracting by them outside of me, businessman, photographer, that. And I said, oh, it's that. Yes, it's that part. And this released totally the relation and made the relation very enjoyable because something has been integrated that the other one was showing me that I was attracted by, thinking it was like, you know, intimate relation, sexual. No, it was not that. It was just to integrate that, to go in resonance with that, to have this thing awaken in me and to be able to expand my being. And I have a lot of young men who want to marry me. Very young. When I say young, it's even not 20 years old. Very young. So when I feel that they are really like open, I answer to them and I say, what do you like in me? I don't speak about the physical. What do you like in me? What is the quality, something you like in me? I say, oh, I love your freedom, your way to be free. Here we are. Is what attracts you in me. It's what needs to be awakened in you. Oh, this makes sense. Thank you. And they don't want to marry me after they understood, you know? It's that when we do this thing, we are not obliged to go in terrible relationship because the relationship is with intimacy with ourselves. And the other one, we are attracted outside of ourselves of something that carry that thing that is asleep. And we want to embrace, we want to incorporate that. We want to have sex with that. We want to, you know, to make love with that. Because, and when we know, when we are aware of it, it's totally different. So it's that.
No, I think that's really beautiful because one of the things I like to talk about is desire. I think desire is so powerful as a force, and it sexual desire, or desire for food, or desire for connection, or whatever it is. And this last year, I think a lot of people put their desire kind of away a little bit, but I'm starting to see people kind of, it's like they're waking back up, or they're re-emerging from that chrysalis, you know, that cocoon. They're coming closer to becoming the butterfly again. And I think there's so much healing in your desire. And I think if you can get to that place, and I mean, it's interesting too, because I think in you, those men probably see a woman who's completely aware of who she is, completely owns her desires. So, you know, you understand yourself on every level, completely accept yourself on every level and love yourself, and you vibrate that frequency. But I love that you dialogue too, to see where that is coming from, and just tell people you're a mirror. I mean, whatever you see in me that you love is what you love about you. Whatever you see in me that you do not love is probably what you do not love about you.
And this is even more, it's even stronger, because something you don't love, that you are not able to see on another level in you, it's where you have a reservoir of power, because you suppress that in yourself. And when you uncover that, you get back all this energy, you know, and it's because it's blocked, because you don't like it, and finally when you release that, you can have room for something else, you know, and something else to come. And it's always source of learning from ourselves first. And it's true, when we change ourselves, the world around us is changing, because we don't project outside of us on others the same thing. So we see the world differently. I had someone told me, but you are not in reality, in the real world. Okay, I am in my real world. You are in your real world. It's violent. Mine is not. So, you know, it's that also. We project the frequency, what we vibrate on, outside, to be able to see it and to deal with that, to decide, to choose what we're going to do with that. And it's always, I learn all the time, especially when it's conflictual.
Well, but you know, if you really believe that you create what you desire, you create what you intend to experience, if you really believe that, there's a great gift in that, but there's a great responsibility in that too. Because you discover that you're responsible for your thoughts, you're responsible for, to your point earlier, what you want.
But you know, this also goes with be able to be tender with ourselves. We are human. We are here to have a human experience, and it is like it is. There is no mistake. There is nothing wrong. We experiment. Someone asked me to do a video about addiction that I may do soon, and for me, there is nothing wrong. So many people I saw on a very weird slope, they are doing so much thing good now than 30 years before. They were really like, oh my goodness, you know, like not very healthy, going in things very dark. And now they are, you know, working to bring good to people, to bring peace, to bring love, to bring... We have to experiment that side to be able to desire the other one. And when we desire the other one, we cannot go back on the other side because we felt it was so good. So after, we just want to share that, you know? We just want to share this, what makes us feeling good. So there is nothing wrong, and we have to don't feel guilty about our supposedly mistakes, because for me, they are not, they are just experiment. We just experiment. And when we see it like that, this really the big weight of, you know, shame and guilt, that there's no room here. No.
Yeah, I agree. There was, I read something. I did not know much about this before I discovered it. I was reading a quotation from a philosopher, a Dutch philosopher, that Albert Einstein followed. And Albert Einstein, I guess, is famous for saying he didn't believe in God except for this God that the philosopher described. And what the philosopher said is, most people think when they die, someone's going to be there saying, judging you, you know, you should have done this, and why did you do that? And the said, what if when you die, what if someone is there saying, did you have fun? What did you learn? Tell me what you saw. What did you love? Who did you love? Why did you love them? And can you, if that's what happens?
Yeah, you know, it's also the connection with angels. Without us, we have to put our angels to work, because they get bored if we don't give them work. You know, they cannot experiment what we experiment in the body, and they are excited about what we experiment. But it's be sorrow or happiness. They can, in a way, at the soul level, invisible level, feel, you know, something. And we have to think about them and like speaking with them. Me, I never saw an angel. I never saw, you know, an angel like, you know, I don't see these fantastic things, you know, but I'm speaking to them. I say, oh, please, can you help me on that? Oh, I lost that thing. Can you help me finding it? You cannot believe it works. Yeah, because like that, they have something to do. They get bored if they don't have this. And we can, only us can be, you know, in between. So it's working.
I think they wait for us to ask for help too, don't you? I don't think they get involved a lot, but I think if we say, hey, could you help me? I don't know how to handle this relationship, then I think they come in but I think they kind of let us be a little bit.
Yeah, because we can say angels, but for me, it can be like sparkles of our divine essence, you know, just a little part of our divine essence. And we put this beautiful image of angels with wings and feathers and light and thing. But I think it's part of our invisible being. And like this, when we put our attention and we ask, this shows to the wholeness that we are open to receive more and to open more, enlarge our consciousness. And like this, non-conscious is quite very happy to give information, to give messages, because we had a request. It's just enlarging our awareness. For me, it's that. I grew in fairy tales books, so I love to have this image of angels thinking they're there, but I know it's higher part of my huge invisible being, you know, because the body is just the tip top of the iceberg. And it's even much bigger than the underneath of the iceberg. And it's for that we are in a way all expression of that source, of that wholeness, to a point that it's absolutely fascinating when we live more and more synchronicities. You see that, you know, it's connecting in a stellar way, not in a linear way. And it's like, it's fabulous.
Yeah, I think this is, and what's interesting to me is we're having this conversation. This is everything that I spend most of my time thinking about, you know? But then there's it's so fun for me to then take what you and I are talking about and connect it to the physical, to the material, to the, you know, bringing it back to where we started, right? That somehow by working with physical things, whether it's a crystal, I know you love crystals and you have some in your space, and or working with a beautiful vibrational essential oil, right? Or eating a beautiful piece of fruit from the farmer's market that just came from the vine, or but these are all those ways of bringing that into the embodying and receiving it on a physical level. And that's the pathway to healing, I think.
Yeah, because we are with this human body and the senses where we can appreciate this physical world, in fact, is directly connected to the soul. I always wonder, I take a lot of time wondering, trying to feel what is the part, where is located the part inside of my body. They can really feel all what I feel when I eat, when I smell, where is that part? Where is that invisible part? Where is it? Is it located out, or is it? And more, I feel it's not in or out, it's both. And it's connected all the time. And what is this miracle that make us having a human body able to feel like that, to appreciate, and all these objects, they are symbols of something else. You know the thing of the three parks that creates the wave of life and cuts the wave, brings the thread, and it's that this is a waving. It's like all interweaving thread of our consciousness, you know, like making a wall art pieces, you know, and it's all the object. When we make a ceramic, it's the same thing. It's the soul, the clay direct. When I was doing ceramics, the clay directed me. At a moment, it was magical because I was on wheel, for example, and I was like in this mesmerizing thing, and it's like the clay was directing me. It's really, and the shape are weird because it's my essence that is like that, you know. I don't want to do perfect shape, like we buy thing in an industry. No, I let do, and they have these shapes like wow, and I love them because none two are the same like we are, you know. So it's all this material world. We are here to live, to experiment, and to live incarnation. And incarnation means what it means to be in the material world. The material world is precious. And you with your crystals, I have a lot of crystals, and you with your crystal and thing, it's fantastic. Because these little beings, they cannot move without us. And when we are attracted by one, and it's really like he's calling, us. Come with me. I want to be with you. I want to be with you, you know, and we have it. And it's like a silent pet. It's an entity. They are really entities. And there is an intimate, silent relation. And I always give this amazing thing as example that happened before 11 September. I was in New York beside the World Trade Center. I had all my crystals aligned in the hallway. And I came back some days before. And suddenly I got the message. Put us in our chest. I was so surprised that I could not do it. It was so strong. Wow. I put them in their red cloth in my big chest and back the bottom of a closet. And I left for France on the Saturday. And 11 September happened. I was in France. My husband was there. And they knew what's going to happen. And they asked me to protect them from the dust, to be stolen. Our apartment was open for 1 month. We could not, it was evacuated. We could not go there. They knew it. So it's that, you know, you have the feeling they are not really alive, but they are. And you know this very well.
Yeah. Well, but I love hearing that story. It's important for you to share it because we think that we don't have intuition sometimes, you know, or we don't trust the intuition. We look back in hindsight and we recognize, like, I think I knew that we were going to shut down about a week before it happened. And the last night in my classroom, before all of this, you know, craziness began, the last night I stayed longer than usual, 2 hours. Usually I go home before dark because I want to see the kids and have dinner and all of that. I couldn't leave the classroom. And I ended up going live. Yeah, I normally don't. People were like, why are you going live? It's different time. And I remember I walked out of the room and I turned around and I looked back over my shoulder. And it was the last time I saw that room in exactly that condition. And if you had asked me in that moment, I would have said, something. Yeah. I think I knew.
And it's that we know. Like 1 week before 11 September, the Tuesday before, I told my ex-husband, why you don't go in Staten Island to see the island and the towers from far? And we did, and I did a video. And 1 week after, it was no more towers. I felt to do it, and it was more than a year we are living there. We never did it before. The first day of January 2001, with my mother, we were on the last at the restaurant on Window of the World. And, you know, it was like very great moment together. And it was like, we have to do that. And my ex-husband had a meeting to be manager of the restaurant on the plaza. That day, the 11th September, it's for that he did not came with me. And I told him, you know, it's Jewish holiday. You will not lose the job. If it's for you, you will have it, no problem. And he said, no, I have to be there. And the 11 at 10 o'clock, it's the appointment. It was no more towers, no more restaurant. So we know without knowing. We feel it's something. Yeah. And when I left that day, Saturday, for the airport, at a moment in the cab, I turned and I saw the tower shining on sunset. And I was attracted by this image. I didn't know why. Some days after, it was no more. So we know, like you and with your space, we know about this without knowing exactly what. But it was like, your space is so sacred to you that your space was also telling you.
It was. Like, look at me one more time. Really look at me.
Be with me longer. Stay with me longer. Look, you know, it's really amazing, huh?
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, this thing can pass by silly little material things. For example, I'm ready to go to an audition. I have to drive 1.5 hours to go to the city. And suddenly I am in my car and my voice tell me, oh, you should take that. So I go back home and I take what my voice told me, a shawl or different sunglasses or another, but you know, silly things in a way.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was like, oh, you are so futile.
Uh-huh.
And finally, I say, why do you think that? And finally, I observe, for example, I knew that it has been an accident on the PCH, or I say, and now I know when there is this, it's because I'm protected.
That's
These
right.
tiny minutes that I spend going back and forth,
that's right,
maybe protected me of something. And now I don't feel guilty at all. And it's funny because I have less of these.
Yeah. Well, it becomes automatic, right? So it's not the first time that happens or the 10th time, the universe has to really, you know, and some people get very, they're annoyed. Why do I have to go back? You forgot something. You shouldn't have, they get annoyed or they argue with their partner and it's like, we could have saved each other. I mean, we don't know, but you learn to just
it's
listen.
like, for example, when you have your voice that tells you, oh, you don't feel to go at an event or a party or something. You really don't feel to go. Me, I always say, and I do it for me, I don't go. Even I say, I'm sorry, I don't feel to come, I don't do. And it's like, oh, she has no engagement thing. It's not that. If it's strong, I don't do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I know someone very close to me who've been at a party that she didn't want, and she been in a terrible accident. But maybe it was also the path she had to have. But it was devastating. 3 years of surgery and thing, And she told me, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to. I said, why you didn't listen to that voice? Yeah. So it's important. Very important.
Even if you're afraid you'll hurt someone's feelings or, if it, you have to honor your body's and your spirit's wisdom. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's going to help also the other one in this similar situation to do the same.
That's right.
And to, like giving authorization to someone to do this, because you manifest that, you did that, you witness about that, and that person maybe sometimes didn't dare to say no or to don't do something because, and she said, oh, it's possible to do it when you do it in a nice way. And in fact, this can also help that other person to don't be in a difficult situation.
That's right. It gives them permission too, because it teaches them. And I think you're right. There's a way to do it and to say, there's something in me that says, I can't do this and I'm really sorry, but I always trust my intuition. Most people will not be upset.
Because they're gonna think, oh, me too, sometimes I had that and I don't honor that, I don't follow that, so we can do it. Oh, great, we can do it. It's like giving, is what I notice, the fact to be like I am, in fact, it's like giving to these women who are a little bit shy authorization to be themselves.
That's right.
There is nothing to fear. You will not, you just can get something nice. You will not. Right. Because when we feel like that, it's because we judge ourselves badly on a very low level. Yeah. But there, at this level, it's different. Yeah.
It's different. Well, this has been one of my favorite conversations ever.
Thank you.
I just. I think we're so blessed, and I know that my students who are here today were very excited to see you. I tried to weave in some of their questions into a little bit of what we talked about.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would love at some point as well. Would you mind sharing with people how they can find your shawls? I would love for you to discuss it.
Oh, it's very simple. You just contact me here on Instagram. You give me your email address. And I will give you all the informations. I have, as I said, no e-commerce or nothing like that. I take time to answer to everybody. It takes me a lot of time to have. I answer to all the messages I receive. And so just give me your email address and I'm going to send you details, link with video and things. It's, yes.
Fine. Well, and you'll be addicted.
So this is Primordial. This is the Primordial series. And it's quite honoring our inner goddess, because as I told you, I explained to you, Athena, this is me naked, self-portrait naked in the desert, but you will never know it's a self-portrait naked because I worked. The universe made me work in that way. It came by very magic time. And so this is part of the Primordial series, and it's very dear to me, really, really dear to me.
Yeah. No, when you showed it, I had to have it. That's what I was going to say. These are very addicting. You know, you start with one and then maybe you have three.
Yeah, and what is nice, when you have the plain color, you can combine them because they are so thin that you can overlay with colors. And this is really nice. Do it again.
Portrait?
Yeah, let's see. Wait, I tried to do. Yes. Yeah, move a little bit. Take off your arm a little bit. Yeah. Again, I love that. Oh, this is nice. I did some screen. Oh, this angle was nice, the last one, when you go on the other side. You know I'm a photographer, and the other side, yeah, like that. Oh, more, yeah. You know, what you said earlier was really that. I have women contacting me in their 40s, 50s, telling me, I never had pictures of me and I want to keep some of, I'm still beautiful and I want to have some. So I do pictures, of these women. And it's always really, really nice because they feel after a session like, wow. Because by resonance again, you know? Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
After my kid, when my daughter was 1, my son was 3, I did a nude photo shoot. And I have one printed in my bedroom, 6 foot big. And at first, you know, I think my husband thought I was crazy. And now he said, I'm so glad you did that. I mean, what's funny though is who's going to want that when I'm older? You know, the kids are not going to want that. I don't know.
You never know. You never know. At least it's here, you know.
It's tasteful, but yeah.
It's very interesting because when I started to do self-portrait long time ago, and because I didn't like my modeling pictures, and when I did my show in Hollywood 10 years ago about Au-delà, Primordial Ascension, people, my followers on Facebook at that time, were used to see my self-portrait, and they thought the exhibition will be about that. It was only one in the exhibition. They were so disappointed. So when I did another exhibition a couple of years later, it was about self-portrait underwater and around the pool. And my big surprise was the one I sold the most was me naked.
Really? Yeah.
Running by the pool, you know, from the back with my butt. And I was like, wow. And a psychologist bought the picture, saying, I'm going to put this in my studio for the woman to be confident.
Oh, I love
and
that.
For the man to see that it's possible to be naked and not in a vulgar way.
That's right.
And another one, she's an aesthetic surgeon who bought it also for her office, you know.
Nice.
And others bought it for their husband to offer the picture to them. I was like, I cannot believe it. So you see, you never know where your picture is gonna go. You never know.
Yeah. Well, that inspires me too. I thought about my grandchild, looking at that and going, "That was my grandmother." Yes, that was.
Yeah. So Because you know what? This is connecting us to our wilderness. And the wilderness, you know, the book Running that revolves, you know.
Yep. Yep.
This wilderness is where we get our power.
Yeah.
It's for that I always say we are like nature. If we connect to nature, we get this power, this inner power. And this shows our wilderness, and it's resonate, you know. So it's great. It's gonna be great for your grandchildren.
Yeah. Feel better about it after today.
Yes.
So, well, now I want to do one, but just with my shawl, just me and my shawl.
Oh, naked with shawls. I did a series some years ago. I'm gonna do my new design. I think I'm gonna go in the desert in May, and I'm gonna do my shawls naked in the desert. It's beautiful because it's you know, blend everything, and you have no seam or nothing. You just have the skin, but we don't see anything when it's under the shawl. Just a little bit. It's very sensual, you know. This is also something, Athena, that is important for women to make the differentiation in between sensuality and sexuality.
Yes.
Some women think they are sexual, so they attract sexual thing, only sexual thing. But when you feel, and you bring yourself that you are sensual, you attract something totally different in your life.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because I very rarely receive any messages that are disrespectful in that way. And people ask me why, and I say I don't know, but I think it's a vibration. It's not what I'm sending, so it's not what I'm receiving. Do you know? It's like
exactly.
It's
vibration. But I'm going to tell you, I receive a lot of. I could do a book about them. I receive a lot of penis in erection. I'm telling you, I have a collection. Okay, if it's good for them, you know, no problem with that. But you know, I receive a lot of very, very beautiful messages of husband, of wives who are following me. Wives who are following me, telling me, oh, it's great since my wife is following you. She adapted that. She's doing that, and it's like they fall in love again with them.
Yeah.
Because their wives are more free, you know. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
I think you are absolutely changing people's lives, and you're doing it in such an it's just by being you. It's literally just by sharing you. You're opening doors for so many of us. You're doing it for me too, and I do.
It's wonderful.
I'm so grateful.
It's wonderful because when I was a little girl, I didn't like myself in a way when I was, 10, 15, because I didn't felt appreciated. Nobody was telling me that I was beautiful or that. So I was like, and I was so tall and I had boobs and I was shy and I was like that. And now I have all this appreciation coming just because I am like I am.
Yeah.
And because I learned how to love myself, and it's so fulfilling. It's so wonderful. I receive message, I cry sometimes because it's so beautiful. And I'm thankful to all of you about that. It's all the lack of appreciation I had. Now it's more than fulfilled. And just by being me.
Yeah.
And it's for that. Be you. Be you. Be you. And you have nothing to lose. You have just to gain, It's wonderful. Yeah.
It is wonderful. It's a miracle. So the way I found your shawls is through yasmina.com. and we can put that in the comments. Unfortunately, when you comment on Instagram, you can't click on it and go. So of course, sending a direct message to Yasmina is the quickest way. I will tell you, she has silk shawls and she has cashmere shawls.
But if you put my Instagram, you know, when you put the little and name, they can click on, and normally it should work.
Let's try that. And my team, will you do that, please, too? Will you put, it's just at Yasmina, YAZEMEENAH. So I'm posting it right now so you can see. I just posted.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to reach her, I have her cashmere. I have not tried the silk, I will say. So I can only speak for the cashmere. It is so light, you guys. And it feels like, it literally is like a little light cloud. It's not heavy. And so if you live in a warm climate like me, or in Florida, or if you live in somewhere tropical, even through the summer, you can work with this. And then I would say also take it to bed with you. I've been sleeping with one of my, it's like a little cocoon of love.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And I will say this, they are expensive. Cashmere is expensive, but I will tell you, if it's possible for you to try one, I think you should. It's a little bit life-changing. Some of you messaged me, it's so sweet, and said, Athena, I've never had cashmere before. What's it like? Maybe you can say, but it's life-changing. You really should try and spoil yourself and just try one.
It's really, really interesting because it connects us to the origin of creativity of human beings, to have the idea to take the hair of the animal and to weave in a thread and a yarn and to make something out of it. And this connects us to the origin of humanity as well. It's more than an object. It's really a very deep meaning. About sleeping with it, it's fantastic. Because don't be afraid of ruining your cashmere. Some people say, do I have to pack it in your drawer? Me, I don't pack them in drawers as much as I can them around, hanging around like this. Visually, it's beautiful. I have one on my bed, but it's not a cashmere, it's a yak. I have them all around me. Yeah. You can sleep with that. It keeps the magical thing, it's so thin. But the hair, with the humidity of your body and the warmth of your body, the hair gonna be more fluffy, the hair of the cashmere. They expand and they keep your warmth. So with a tiny thing like that, after your shower the evening or the bath, you have that on your skin. Oh, it's so soft and it's like a cocoon, exactly a cocoon. It's really, really a good feeling. And it's true. I have clients in warm tropical climates and they have them all the time because restaurant there is AC or there is a breeze or there is, because they are very thin. Actually, they are so thin that they can go through a ring like the chatouches. Yes. But they are even longer than the chat. They are oversized, so they are very big.
It's very long. But you can see, it's...
Oh, they go through a ring. You can take a ring, middle size, and they can go through a ring like the chatouches that are called the ring shawls, But the chatouches are forbidden because it's a wild goat. And they cost a fortune. They cost from $5,000 to $20,000. But these, there's nothing to envy to that, and they are not forbidden. They are allowed. So you have the goat, the cashmere, and on my website it explains how the artisan I work with the hair of the goat that are combed, not shaved. And you have the yak, that is another fiber. The yak is fabulous. The yak shawls are a little bit bigger even, and it's you check on yak, you will see it's a very robust, very archetypal animal, very protective animal, strong. And the fiber of the yak is antibacterial and anti-moth. So if you are in a place where there are moths, the yak is perfect. And it has a dry feeling. The cashmere has a kind of velvety, wet feeling in a way. But the yak has a dry feeling, a little bit like linen.
Yeah.
But woolly linen.
Yeah, I agree.
And both goes very well together. It's two different fibers, two different energy. Look at the animals, you will feel the little goat. It's so cute. It's like, you know, soft little thing. And the yak, they are like, wow. And the fiber of the yak is also calm because it's a thin hair. They grow in winter because they live at 5,000 meters. And this thin hair naturally fall at spring, end of spring, when it's going to be hot. So they collect that hair. It's fabulous. And you have the albino that is really
have your
amazing.
albino. That's the one I'm sleeping with.
The albino is my hair color. It's this one.
Yeah. Isn't that beautiful?
Really, yeah, it's beautiful. It's rare. It's very rare. But it's really an amazing thing.
As Mina's videos, she shows you that you can wrap it like a skirt. You can wear it as a scarf. And so a portion of the proceeds, when you purchase from her, I mean, everything is special, but she also donates to an orphanage in Nepal. Some of the art that's in the dolls is from you know, the hands or the children's hands at the orphanage, and it's hard to describe. This pattern, there's only 2 right now. This is called Purple Primordial. She and I have the 2, but she'll have more of this in a couple of months. So if you have your heart set on Purple Primordial, maybe there's a
yeah, I have them in red, in blue, in grays, in brown. That is, the original is brown and golden and black. Yeah. So I have them available in these colors. Few of them, I have like 3 to 5 pieces of them, each of them. I don't order a lot every time because it's too expensive I cannot have all this variety. You know, I have more than 50 shades of plain color. And I want to offer that because at the beginning I had only 9 shades, but I was so excited to see other shades even for me. And when I show them and all these beautiful colors, they are like candies, or all the natural dye, they are like basic, all this pomegranate natural dye, jasmine natural dye. It's so beautiful. So I extended the line, so I cannot order hundreds. It's impossible. I can't. So I have few pieces, but regularly, and I can have regularly. And what I wanted to say as well, on my website, there is a link with Doc F's Nepal, the small orphanage I'm supporting. And Lila, who created the orphanage, it's possible to contact him because on their website, that is very well done. You can see how you can also support independently, monthly, or sponsoring a children. If you have the pictures of all the child, the one that are sponsored and the one that are not. And if your heart goes to one of them, you can do that. My niece, who is more than 50 years old, did that more than 20 years ago with a little boy in Nepal that she sponsored. And now she's in the food critic business. She make him going in a very beautiful school and very high-end school of chef in Switzerland. And she provide for him all these 20 years. And now he's studying there. And she started just by sponsoring a child like that. And she had this affinity. She's been many times to Nepal to be with him and continue to sponsor. So this is possible. And for us in our, I could say, developed countries, because Nepal is a very poor country, you know, like $1,000 make a big difference in a life of, it can support, I think to support one child 1 year, it's $1,250. It's $1,250. So it can makes a big difference. So this
and we are going to, next week, we have our live gemstone sale. We do 2 times a month. We always donate each show to one charity. And so this orphanage is going to be the focus of our donation for next week. So if you come to our sale, yes, we're doing that.
Wow. This is fantastic. I don't know, Lila maybe is following because he's following everything, all the collaborations, the live I do, and he will be I am amazed because I was not expecting 2 weeks ago. I did this video with this Frenchman entrepreneur that he has a heart on his hand, and he gave $1,000 like that, and I was like, wow. And before, this Iranian follower that is a designer did the same, and this is wonderful because last year has been so hard in Nepal because they have no income at all, and the donators could not give because they lost their jobs, and it's like wonderful. And Lila Dar, who is the founder of the orphanage, is also a travel agent. He has been orphan himself, and he has been helped by an association who raised him, who brought him in Germany to study, and he's speaking German and English perfectly. And he came back to Nepal, employed in a travel agency, and decided to open his own. And he opened his own traveling agency. And with his wife, they started the orphanage because they discovered a little girl abused in the street, 7 years old. And this broke their heart. And they started the orphanage like that. And at a point, they have 150 children. And now they cannot anymore. They have 39 children that they follow from when they arrived to when they are ready to work, to have a job. So all the school, everything. And they are amazingly well maintained. And now they become, because of the video I do, they had the idea to have their own eggs, to do an orchard. So now they have their own eggs in the garden. They start to cultivate. And all the children are doing that. So it's nice, it's really nice. So if you want to travel in Nepal, you can also contact Lila at the foundation. He can organize a trip in Nepal for you.
Oh, and I would love that. I would really, really love that. I have a feeling this is the start of a really beautiful partnership. I really feel. So, and you can also, I mean, obviously, if you purchase a shawl, you're going to be making a donation indirectly, but you can also, as Yasmina is saying, if you go to her, you can actually just support them directly if you would prefer.
Yeah.
And you're helping.
Sure. And everything is clear. Lila knows, and we are in contact all the time. And voila. So it's wonderful. Really.
It's so
Thank
good.
you for your help. Thank you for your support. It's really, thank you, Athena. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I feel like I've made a new friend, and I just must tell you just how much I just appreciate you. We often don't tell people, you make a difference and thank you. So I get today to tell you, you make a difference and thank you for being here. So grateful to you.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So we hope you enjoyed this. We will maybe do it again. I had so much fun. So Yasmina and I will chat, and but if you missed the part, you can watch the recording.
Yeah, we can do it once on my account also. We could do that together if we have a subject or something, we can have a discussion, could be nice. And what I was going to tell you, are you going also to share with me this video? I would love to put it on my page as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Especially because we matched.
Can you believe? It's fantastic to think there are only two in the world. There are only two right now in the world. Yeah. It's ours. Yeah. This is really a nice symbol. Yeah, it's very special. Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you, Athena. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Yeah. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.